And here are the sides the different political parties take. The Congress party says, big deal. Narendra Modi needs to answer why this snooping was happening. Shaktisinh Gohil of the Congress took the new Congress news conference today, is joining us. The BJP, represented on the program by its national spokesperson Akbar, and former diplomat and former permanent representative of India to the United Nations Hardeep, Puri, takes a point of view: no snooping, no big deal, no story. I wonder why the BJP is playing it down. Saba Naqvi, political editor of The Outlook, also joins us, as also D. Raja, Member of Parliament of the Communist Party of India. My first question is to Shaktisinh Gohil. Mr. Gohil, what is more important? The gossip you are circulating, unsubstantiated gossip that BJP leaders are spying on each other, is that gossip more important? Or is the fact that Manmohan Singh possibly gave up on India's sovereignty by giving the Americans access to spy on anyone in India, especially BJP leaders, is that more important? Is gossip more important, or is the compromise of national security by the Manmohan Singh government more important, Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil?
अर्नब, जरा हिस्ट्री को देख लेंगे. जब नरेंद्र मोदी थे गुजरात में और हरेन पांड्या उन्हीं का नेता, बीजेपी का सीनियर नेता, मिनिस्टर, आरएसएस से जुड़ा हुआ, और एक ऐसा अपराइट ऑफिसर जो वहां पे इंटेलिजेंस में आईजीपी था, उन्होंने एफिडेविट करके बताया कि हरेन पंड्या का मोबाइल नंबर मुझे दिया गया था कि इसको रिकॉर्ड करो, इसको स्पाई करो. डीजीपी गुजरात ने कहा 95,000 फोन्स इलीगल टैप हो रहे थे गुजरात में.
तो आप गेसवर्क कर रहे हैं.
जो स्नूप गेट गुजरात का.
So you are guessing.
It's not a gossip.
Not gossip. I said you are guessing, not gossip. It's a mix of gossip and guessing. That's what you are doing. No, I'll tell you the facts. My question to you, sir, is very simple. Did the Congress party allow the Americans access to fiber optic cables that the US National Security Advisor could use to install their surveillance systems? Aapne aisa kiya? Did you do that?
Arnab, no one will do that, and Congress party or UP was very sincere about
classified
the national
files,
security.
This is very serious information, and Akbar and Hardeep Puri, feel free to come in when you want. My information is that classified files which shed...
concrete thing.
Sir,
no government will allow...
Sir, but your government did allow.
Foreign country to spy anyone.
Okay, so you are saying that if it can be proven that your government allowed America's National Security Alliance...
The information is already available in the public domain. The facts that Indian sovereign space was invaded is well known. I can cite from my personal example that in October 2010, I had sent a top secret communication to the Ministry of External Affairs saying that with our election to the Security Council as a non-permanent member, I anticipated that we would be comprehensively surveilled. Today, there are documents put out in this book, No Place to Hide by Greenwald, which gives exactly which Indian missions were surveilled, which program was used, and most important, the name of the operation. Now, all this information is in the public domain, so I would advise my friends in the Congress party,
apologize, Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil,
out in the public domain, you may end up with a situation that the noose is tightening around the Congress party and the UPA's neck. All this information is there. They have to make up their mind whether India was a victim or a collaborator of the NSA's comprehensive spying program. If we were a victim, then we cannot be sold a pup that data is not important and that this was on terrorism. What we are being treated to is something which would not be convincing for an undergraduate student of the intelligence community.
I agree with you. I agree with you. You see, in this you use two words: who was the collaborator and who was the victim. If this is true, Shaktisinh Gohil, you will have to say sorry on the Newshour tonight. Because if this is true, then Manmohan Singh was a collaborator and India was the victim.
There is no question about saying sorry. Today, BJP...
Sir, was India one of the... Sir, 1 minute, don't do guesswork and gossip on the Newshour.
हम भी कहते हैं, this demand from us also. Let us there be a proper probe.
Don't talk about a probe as if it is in thin air. Let me get MJ Akbar in.
Culprit.
No, the
law will take its own course.
Sir,
you cannot have something pieces from here and there, and you can say that UPA government has allowed any foreign country to tap the phone of BJP
Was India,
leaders.
I can see today, Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil.
There is the infighting in BJP. BJP leaders अपने आप में उलझे रहते हैं, and then they are blaming others.
Was India one of the third-party partners in the Rampart A program?
Who is stopping Prime Minister to come forward and say?
Was India one of the third-party partners in the Rampart A spying program? What was the extent of the surveillance? Who were the targets? What information was spied on?
Today...
No, 1 minute, Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil. Mr. Gohil, this is little more serious than this gossip that you are trying to circulate today. You know, every phone call, every fax, every email, internet chat, data from private networks and calls made, MJ Akbar, let me get you in, using voice over internet protocol software like Skype. The Americans have the right to spy on everything that comes out of India. Every little bit of data that comes out of India. This is extremely serious. You have therefore compromised India's national security by allowing that. What did you gain by doing it, Mr. Gohil? I just don't understand. What did you gain? Did the Americans share the information saying we spied on Gadkari or other BJP leaders? We'll share that information with you. Did you want that information before the election on what the conversations of Gadkari or other BJP leaders were, that you were doing something like this? MJ Akbar, let me get you in. At this point of time, the Congress is still saying, the Congress still says, this is BJP leader being spied on by BJP leader. Your response?
Arnab, let me first say very, very clearly that Mr. Nitin Gadkari has denied this completely. So
I don't expect him to confirm it at all.
Absolutely.
There's no question of his confirming it.
Absolutely. There is no question of his confirmation as distinct from the, the famous bugging of Pranab Mukherjee. I mean, Pranab Mukherjee never denied it.
Yeah, but you wanted an investigation then.
What really?
You wanted an investigation then.
What really?
Your party wanted an investigation then, when there were reports that cabinet ministers in the UPA government were snooped on. Sushma Swaraj called it India's Watergate. Why are you trying to play it down now? I just don't understand this, sir.
Who is trying to play it down?
The BJP.
No, we're not trying to play it down at all.
Of course you are.
What I'm trying to say very clearly is that Mr. Gadkari has denied that anything of this sort ever happened.
That means nothing, Mr. Akbar. You know that.
That means everything, because there is no complaint in this story.
Sir, I'm sorry, but you are sounding like the Congress party used to.
Well, maybe that is the worst crime that one could possibly commit, particularly in view of what the Congress is trying to say in terms of an alibi on the NSA issue and on the American issue. They are trying to say that the present government should investigate. Of course, anyone who has even a marginal amount of sense about intelligence knows that the moment an intelligence operation is uncovered, I'm assuming there was one, is uncovered, all of the evidence is after that hidden or changed and so on and so forth. The time to investigate it was in 2010, when the matter was hot, when the evidence was before you, when it was known. Instead, the last government, actually, to use Hardeep's term, my friend's term, collaborated, because...
Which you are doing now. Which you are doing now. Sir, the issue at hand is this, and Saba, I want to get you in on this, and Mr. Raja. No, 1 second. I feel that the role of Indian political parties vis-a-vis America is different when they are in opposition and when they are in power. The moment they are in power, every single Indian political party, Sabha, including the BJP, is dead scared of the Americans. I want Mr. MJ Akbar to disclose tonight. Mr. MJ Akbar, instead of obfuscating, looking the other way or pointing the finger at others, I want the BJP spokesperson to disclose tonight whether the Rampart A program with the Americans, which makes us third party to American surveillance, whether that program is still going on in India or not. Are we a third party partner of American spying using the Rampart A program today, sir?
I can tell you one thing, Arnab, that the
I
Prime
say one
Minister
thing,
Narendra
Arnab?
Modi and the NDA government at this moment will protect the national interest.
Sir, you are not answering my question. No, you are not answering my question.
Which was abandoned.
Sir, you are not answering my
I think-
question. You
I
are
think
not
this
answering
is a
my
fair
question.
answer, Arnab.
Sir, with respect,
This
you
is
are not
absolutely
answering
a
my
fair
question.
answer.
No, Mr. Akbar, my question
Can
is very
Arnab,
simple.
can I say one thing?
Yes, sure, Saba, but I think I need full disclosure tonight because what is happening is extremely serious. I don't know, Saba, if you can hear me, but I need to know whether our government is still
Yes, I
allowing the
can.
Americans to do surveillance of this kind in India. My information is that there is no way in which it could have stopped in the last 2 months.
Arnab, are we a victim or are we a collaborator?
Arnab, can I,
Both.
can I,
There is
can I
a
say
very
one
simple
thing
question
now?
here.
Both. Saba.
Can I?
Yes, Saba.
Can I? Yes. Arnab, first of all, if you recall, when the Snowden scandal broke all over the world and countries
Yes.
were panicking,
Yes.
we had a very weak response from the UPA regime.
Yes.
I think if, your files will show you that, the then Foreign Affairs Minister said it's not actually amounting to spying.
Yes.
And, they did get a lot of terrorists as a result of it. So violation of privacy is always sort of covered up as searching for terrorists. That is at the international level. So we had a very, very weak response from a regime which was remarkably pro-America. And I would certainly not like to see the BJP go that way. Having said that, about using surveillance within the political system in Delhi, both in the BJP and in the Congress, people have got videotapes, recordings of each other, rivals. It's been rampant in Indian politics for some time. We all know of the scandals, some of which cannot be revealed, which cannot be shown on television. That kind of thing has been happening both in the Bharatiya Janata Party and in the Congress Party. And I think Mr. Akbar would be more informed than I am about all these matters.
No, today both...
There are two levels to this very critical debate that you've picked up.
Yes, yes. Please continue, Saba. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Go ahead.
Yes, no. So there are two levels. So first of all, what your point that will the Americans, they had a license to spy. According to me, they had a license to spy. They have the technology, and the government was not speaking strongly enough about our privacy rights to stop that. In fact, the important democratic country like India was making a very weak statement at that time. I personally was scandalized because as a journalist, I sort of know how important privacy can be at times. And the excuse by them was national security, that they've got terrorists.
No,
it would be very interesting to see if the BJP was to go down that path.
One second.
The BJP would also like to have...
I think what's happening, Saba, is, and I want to go to Mr. D. Raja, then we'll open it up. Mr. D. Raja, I get a feeling tonight that neither the Congress nor the BJP is giving me a clear answer on whether the Americans have a license to spy in India. The Congress says that's not the issue. The BJP says, we can assure you we won't do anything to compromise national security. We are asking tonight, do the Americans have a license to spy? Does the CIA and the National Security Agency have a license to spy in India under the Rampart A program? Mr. Raja, I find it impossible to believe that that license could have gone away in 2 months since Modi came to power. These are arrangements between governments. Is there disclosure required, Mr. Raja?
Arnab, by this time it should be very clear, it should not be surprising or shocking that US government has been snooping, has been doing surveillance of the activities of other governments, the political parties of other countries, particularly of developing countries, including India. And US government considers itself as policeman of the world, and it thinks it has the prerogative to interfere in the political affairs of other countries. This is going on. The second issue is, you are asking whether UPA government acted as a collaborator. Now UPA chairperson is there. The then Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh is there. Let them respond to this. Let them answer to this. Third one is...
No, they will not answer, Mr. Raja. They simply say that let the other side answer.
Let me finish. Third one is whether US government has been doing this, or our own government agency is doing, or private agencies are doing, or political rivals are doing. It is a serious matter. Why can't the political parties agree for a meaningful discussion, a thorough probe, investigation
because they don't want
into the issue?
because it will expose both the Congress and the BJP.
No,
because none of them. Because none of them.
No, let me finish. When Mr. Arun Jaitley's phone tapping issue was raised by BJP on the floor of the House, the then government responded to it, and the Delhi police was asked to investigate. If that is the precedent, why not? We have an investigation.
No, this is most. Mr. Raja, Mr. Raja, now it's open debate. This is most surprising. The BJP's response, sir. Can I tell you how
this is not surprising. The evidence against the previous government stands established.
Sir, but
there are at least 2 counts on which
are you willing to tell me today whether the Rampart A program, which allows the American surveillance over every single email or conversation from India, is on or not? Are you willing to tell me they don't have the license to spy? I want to know that.
Now let me share with you the information which is in the public domain, on the basis of which I can take a position. India is a category 3 country, tier 3 country, which along with 20 or several others, category 1 countries with which they collaborate are Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom and Canada.
So you are admitting
category 3.
So you are admitting what is in the Snowden files. Thank you very much. You just made the admission. These classified files. I have the information with me also, sir. This information is in the public domain. Sir, my information is
there in the public domain.
Sir,
How can you run away from it?
Where is your government's hardline on sovereignty issues? Where is the BJP's hardline? I asked MJ Akbar tonight, where is your hardline on sovereignty issues? Rampart A, foreign partners provide access to cables and host US agreement. This allows the CIA and the NSA to convert TAP into congestion points around the world, MJ Akbar, where it can intercept the contents of phone calls, faxes, emails, internet chats, data from virtual private networks and even Skype. Where is your anger today? No, Mr. Akbar, Mr. Akbar, where is your concern today? Are you the same political party that used to say that?
There is a line in Rampart A which says that no collection was done by the US in these collaborators or on behalf of the US. No, you have to understand Rampart A and then come to the conclusion of what the arrangement UPA and the Americans was.
Sir, Rampart A is a clandestine American program which allows the National Security Agency of America to install surveillance equipment on fiber optic cables. Everything from India can be followed. Now, I would have thought that the party like the Bharatiya Janata Party, which you represent tonight, a party which used to say, my God, if there is chewing gum with a bug in Pranab Mukherjee's room, then it is a very serious matter of national security. A party which used to say, well, if Pranab's room is bugged, then it is India's Watergate, that we are compromising India's sovereignty. Today, your party is trying to tell people, it's no big deal, it's okay. It happens.
Arnab,
it's a complicated thing.
Why
are you playing it down, sir? Why are you playing it
on behalf of the BJP? Well, whereas you should be really talking on behalf of Times Now.
Sir, I am asking you, is there Rampart A? Are you allowing American surveillance? Yes or no?
May I have the privilege of answering that? Just look at who is the victim. The victim of that operation was BJP.
Yes, so you should be speaking more about it, but you're not.
Yes,
you see, you should be more upset. Your leaders are being spied on.
I want to say...
And yes, Saba.
You know, along with the Muslim Brotherhood, look at the parties in the world. Look at, if the report that I've read in the Washington Post is accurate, then along with the Muslim Brotherhood of Egypt, the BJP should be outraged.
Yes.
You were seen by the US as to which Mr. Narendra Modi is about to make a visit, as a party which needed to be surveyed along with certain Islamic parties.
Why don't
you should be really sort of out there with your rhetoric, Mr. Akbar.
On the 12th of July,
and,
Sabha.
Mr. Puri,
Sabha.
you are giving a very sophisticated response.
No, very sophisticated.
You are not giving the sort of gung-ho response. How dare you survey us? The
Mr. Puri, Mr. Puri, Mr. Puri, Mr. Puri,
you were surveyed along with the
Mr.
Muslim
Puri, my
Brotherhood.
information is,
That is what the State Department was.
no, I know BJP leaders will never admit it.
In 2010, now we are 2 months old. Give us a little time. We will come to the bottom of
Little
this.
time.
I'm sure the security apparatus is examining this.
The Americans are spying into every conversation from India, and you are saying little time. I mean, do you remember that in July 2010, sir? Have you forgotten or have you got?
Day before yesterday.
Sir, when Snowden's revelations first emerged on the embassy snooping case, at that point of time, the Bharatiya Janata Party has a leader called Ravi Shankar Prasad, who says the following quote, any surveillance on Indian systems is uncalled for. The BJP is for good relations with the US, but this is a compromise of our sovereignty. This is a compromise of our self-respect, and a compromise of sovereignty and self-respect is non-negotiable. Come on. What happened to that? Rahul Narvekar joins the debate. Am I seeing a slight disconnect here tonight? And Shaktisinh Gohil doesn't excuse you from the basic guilt of allowing the Americans in. You compromised our security. You let the Americans in. Don't do gossip and guesswork on the Newshour tonight. Admit your fault. You compromised. Manmohan must answer before you, Shaktisinh Gohil, do a press conference on an issue such as this. First, admit your guilt before the people of India. Rahul Narvekar, how do you see the BJP's response tonight on the Newshour? Rahul.
Well, Arnab, your
And MJ Akbar has to respond at some point. Yes.
Well, Arnab, your mood question today seems to be about some privileged information.
Yes, it
which,
is.
of course, the government in place would be best to answer, because the Home Ministry, the RAW, the investigating agencies, the intelligence agencies are currently under the jurisdiction of the NDA. So I think the Prime Minister of this country, the Home Minister of this country are best apt to answer this question, number one.
KG response
number
from
two.
you. KG
Number
response
two.
from you. A party which has allowed the Americans in must take responsibility
First and foremost, Arnab, if there's anyone doing guesswork on your channel today, it's Arnab Goswami. Because I don't hear the UPA coming out and accepting this. I don't hear the current Home Minister or Prime Minister coming out and saying that yes, this is true. So this is only being gossiped or speculated by Mr. Arnab Goswami.
Well, you know,
unless it is established, why do you want to blame the UPA or for that matter the NDA?
Whatever you may say today, and your ridiculous attempts at personalizing the conversation are like water off a duck's back as far as I am concerned, Mr. Rahul Narvekar. Because whatever you may say, the finger points directly at the UPA, because the latest revelations by Edward Snowden throw light on an NSA clandestine program called Rampart, allow me to complete, called Rampart A, and according to classified documents, India is a third-party partner of the NSA, which in layman terms, allow me to complete, means that your government gave permission to the American NSA to install surveillance equipment in India. Why did you do that?
Unfortunately,
why did you do that?
Unfortunately, Mr. Arnab Goswami, whatever you say is not the gospel truth.
This is a fact which is in the public domain, admitted by all.
You are free to
speculate. You should be ashamed of yourself for allowing this.
You are free to speculate. But the answer today to your question can be squarely answered by the Prime Minister of this country, the Home Minister of this country. Really? So let your question be directed to them.
I think
insofar as the UPA is concerned, insofar as the UPA is concerned, your question cannot be answered by the spokesperson of any party. Because your question is concerning an issue which is of national security, an issue which is of utmost importance, and therefore an issue which is dealt by the intelligence agencies of this country. And therefore, I think it should be directed to these agencies.
One second. Now, Mr. MJ Akbar, I am asking you once again. Please tell me whether Rampart A, the American surveillance program, is currently on in India.
Arnab, yes. May I have the privilege of answering that? I am absolutely sure, although I am not in government, neither is Hardeep, that the government is taking a full rational analysis of the information.
Sir, you are still not answering. Mr. Raja, is Mr. Akbar answering the question? I don't think he is. Mr. Akbar has many qualities. One of them is that when he chooses to, he can be a wordsmith. And tonight he is using whatever words are at his disposal, Mr. Raja, to avoid a fairly square question. Pavan Verma joins the debate. MJ Akbar obfuscating. Raja has a question for MJ Akbar tonight. Mr. Raja to MJ Akbar. With respect, Mr. Raja to MJ Akbar.
Mr. Akbar, I know him very well. He's my good friend. So I am asking, one can accuse the Congress party, one can accuse the UPA, one can accuse Mr. Manmohan Singh for what they did. But why BJP is taking a dubious position now? Why BJP is taking an hypocritical position now? BJP should come clean and BJP should be forthright in addressing this issue.
Would they not be?
BJP thinks what is going on is a very serious thing, let BJP agree
all the BJP has to say
investigation.
Mr. Raja, may I just respond to Mr. Raja, who is actually a good friend of mine. As we just said, I'm happy to see him on the program. This, as you know, governance requires a little patience.
Patience
is not really a television program.
Patience.
I am sure at the moment as we talk, a very rational and
Mr. Akbar on this. I beg to differ on Mr. Akbar on this.
At the right level,
because the question being asked is not about some remote village in some remote part of India. It is concerning the national security of this country. This information should have been available at the drop of the hat.
What's it? You see, the question is this. Mr. Pavan Verma, welcome to the debate. Smiling away this evening, Pavan Verma. How happy you are, aren't you, Mr. Verma, that the shoe is pinching on the other foot?
Why should I be happy?
You are happy at the discomfiture of your friend MJ Akbar, and may your friendship bloom. But let this country have an answer on whether we gave the Americans a license to spy. My question is,
I am not discomforted at all, Arnab, at all.
I am sure you are not. I am sure you are not. Mr. Pavan Verma, should MJ Akbar and the BJP give us a clean, clear and crisp response on whether Rampart A, which allows India, which allows America to get access to all our surveillance equipment to spy on India, do you think MJ Akbar and the BJP should say, no, we don't allow it, or yes, we allow it? Should they at least be clear with us on that?
No, in fact, Arnab, let me say that this entire episode, which hasn't ended yet, needs a definitive and authoritative statement from the government, including the possibility of inquiry and certainly a parliamentary debate. I don't see why the BJP is shying away from it.
Why? I don't know.
If there is nothing to it,
I don't know.
Then let them at least issue an official statement in order to give the nation both assurance, confidence and clarity. What is the problem?
What is the problem, Hardeep Puri? This is looking very bad on the BJP. After all, Mr. Puri, you should empathize with BJP leaders who are snooped on. As Saba rightly said, you should be very upset.
I mean,
you should be very upset about it.
I am not at all upset. I don't. If there is, first of all, there are two questions that you've asked. One is about Rampart A. If there has to be a response on Rampart A, I don't think the countermeasures have to be shared on prime-time television thanks to your good offices.
You're sounding like the Congress party.
The allegation about...
You sound like the Congress party when you say that.
House being bugged is concerned. Well, let the BJP first tell you whether the bugging took place or not. What I'm hearing is that the people who are saying are the people from the Congress party getting some encouragement from TV anchors and eminent personalities like yourself who are saying bugging has taken place.
Mr. Hardeep Puri,
let's not have a situation where you bring a charge and then the BJP has to respond to the charge.
Mr. Puri, since we are all in a... No, 1 second. Mr. Puri, Mr. Hardeep Puri, you see, you are an extremely gifted diplomat, like MJ Akbar has been in the past an extremely gifted journalist. So MJ Akbar becomes a wordsmith.
So why are you talking in the past tense?
No, I'm talking in the present. He is using all his skills as a diplomat. You see, foreign policy is one thing. He's using all his skills as a diplomat to deflect.
As after he has come into the BJP, he's more gifted. And with the coming months, his gifts will enhance. He is going to be even more gifted as a political and a journalist combined with a state.
Hardeep Puri, tonight you are a master of deflection on the Newshour. I think the people of this country deserve an answer. Did we give the Americans a right to put in surveillance systems in India? And I think that's a damn serious question.
They have no right. They have no right. I can tell you that.
Then tell me.
I've been saying that all along. I've been writing they don't have a right.
Sir, that's
but insofar as this government position is concerned,
don't play
I don't think this government position can be any different.
Don't play it down. Don't go into interpretation. Pavan, Verma, Subramanian Swamy, welcome into the debate on license to spy. We expect you to participate and give us fresh information on the story. You've been talking a lot about it. Now, Pavan Verma, my information is that this Rampart A surveillance program works on a give and take policy, which allows a host country access to the NSA's surveillance equipment so that they too can spy on mass data inflows and outflows. So, this is clearly, you know, India can say we are collaborating with the Americans, but should they not tell us? Because one of the victims of this license to spy was probably Gadkari. And from my information, there are other BJP leaders also who have been spied on. In any other situation, Pavan Verma, Pavan Verma.
Now, Arnab, if this is a collaboration, I'm afraid it's a rather strange and unequal one, which actually seems to be benefiting some people. It almost seems, from the terms of reference, some people within the government, because they have a right to monitor information on someone as senior as a cabinet minister like Mr. Gadkari, who is also part of the core group of the Prime Minister and a very important interlocutor with the RSS.
No, but Subramanian...
So I'm not sure. So I think what the nation wants to know is whether there's any truth in this. If so, what were the terms on which this was at all agreed upon? And thirdly, I think we need to have once and for all, not a statement which says the news is very speculative, a la Oscar Wilde. The point is we need an authoritative statement on it.
Of course we do. The only authoritative statement
as a
of
whole,
the day.
not Mr. Gadkari, not Mr. Gadkari himself, because it does not matter if he doesn't complain.
You realize
Incidentally, an argument has been put that Mr. Pranab Mukherjee complained about the possibility of surveillance in his office.
Yes.
And Mr. Gadkari has not. I don't care if Mr. Gadkari hasn't complained. He may have his own reasons for silence. The nation has to know the truth.
Of course the nation must know the truth. Now Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil, who's listening to the debate, has realized what a soup he has put himself in. There he was, Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil, seizing the opportunity, trying to suggest that Modi was getting Gadkari snooped on. Now Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil realizes he's in the middle of a far bigger international plot, which goes beyond his old rivalries with Narendra Modi in Gujarat. Mr. Shaktisinh Gohil, for all your shock and outrage, let me remind you that when it first emerged that the BJP was one of the political parties that America had sought permission to snoop on you sought to highlight the fact that they were grouped with other political parties rather than the fact that it was an affront to our democracy. You see, what did Manish Tiwari say? Did the Congress party say once that it is a violation of India's sovereignty that the Americans have dared to spy on the BJP? Did you say once? Did you put your political rivalries aside, Mr. Gohil? Did you feel hurt that the Americans sitting in Washington are trying to find out and spy on BJP activities? How would you have reacted if the Americans were spying on 10 Janpath? Or on Tughlaq Road? Or at the Rajiv Gandhi Bhavan? Mr. Gohil, you let the Americans say you can confess now.
If something was wrong, and if America was doing something wrong, today BJP is in power, they have a majority. Let them investigate and say that Congress was involved or Congress has compromised any national interest.
Sir, did the Congress let America's NSA in? Did the Congress let America's NSA in?
There was nothing wrong in it, and whatever Congress did,
so you
always
admit,
we put national interest
so you
first.
Admit,
and you are saying today that Congress has allowed to do this within Gadkari's house to spy. Then let there be investigation.
Sir, this is so utterly unbelievable that from beginning to say we didn't do it, now you are saying we did it, but there is nothing wrong with it. You joined a group
of... what I'm saying
sir, I'm sorry, Mr. Gohil, apologize.
If something was wrong, then let the BJP investigate. I'm not saying that something is wrong.
Mr. Gohil, we are not
didn't allow anyone to do wrong, and we never compromised like Narendra Modi did.
Mr. Gohil, Manmohan Singh may have been an American stooge, but India is not an American stooge nation. Let me say it very clearly. Manmohan Singh may, and the operational word is may. He may have been an American stooge, Many people suspect that he was an American stooge, though people find it strange why he was an American stooge. But the question is, you cannot compromise our sovereignty while doing that. Now I go to Subramanian Swamy. Subramanian Swamy, the story is now getting complicated. You have said that this spying happened on Gadkari's house around October. May I ask you on what basis you are saying that?
Well, you know, the question of basis means that I have friends who are well informed in these matters, and they tell me and I believe them.
What do they tell you?
And this is an ongoing... They told me that number of... first of all, the hard fact is the United States NSA had obtained a court order to have a free hand in chasing and in mapping 6 political parties in the world, and in India there was only one party, and that was BJP. And in the court they said that BJP coming to power is not in the national interest of the United States, and therefore they have to put it under surveillance. Right. And Gadkari, if he was put in the surveillance, was not the only one. I believe there were 8 people. And I also believe that an Indian industrialist cooperated in this.
What?
And all this must come out, and the government of India must come out with a white paper.
1 minute, Subramanian
And I will say that the Congress party...
Subramanian Swamy, let me just summarize, because you know you're making a series of fairly confident assertions. You are saying, are you saying there were other BJP leaders also who were spied upon at the same time?
That was the goal of the United States, and I'm sure they've executed it.
Was it the goal or was it done? I mean, there's so much of contradiction.
Rahul Narvekar of the NCP asks you, are you speculating, was it the goal or was it done?
No, they have said in the court of the United States, please read it.
Sir, I have read
newspaper in September 2003,
but I thought this information
had
was
accessed
based on
that document.
some privileged information that Mr. Subramanian Swamy got from his friends. I mean, whenever Mr. Swamy wants to make a statement, there's some friend of his who comes across and whispers it. So
let him reply. Let him reply. He's putting the information out. He's putting the information out. Let him put the information out.
He started off saying that this was information which was given to him.
Let him put. No, one. At this stage, Subramanian Swamy is revealing interesting information. Let him. Yes.
I said I've heard the same rubbish from congressmen when I raised the National Herald issue. Now their leader is an accused and has to appear in court to take bail and face trial. Now I have always converted these things into a court case, and I am today telling you I want our government to come out with a white paper, because it will show the complicity of the UPA with the United States spy agencies.
Sir, but what is that? 1 minute, sir. Is that you didn't answer my question? In your information, I asked you, are there other BJP leaders who were also spied on? Why don't you reply in black and white on that?
I am replying in this to the extent that I know that the United States objective was to put under surveillance BJP leaders, and I'm sure that they did more than Mr. Gadkari.
This is your speculation, or you have some privileged information?
This is my inference based on the documents that are being filed with the United States court.
Or are you simply trying to deflect? Pavan Verma, interesting responses from Subramanian Swamy tonight. Do you think Subramanian Swamy is simply sort of, is Subramanian Swamy indulgently kite flying in order to take attention away from the possibility of the BJP leaders embarrassing themselves by carrying out surveillance on their own colleagues? Pavan Verma. Pavan Verma.
No,
sir, you can't laugh at it. Pavan Verma.
I want to pick specifically.
Yes.
I want to pick specifically on what Mr. Swamy said, that the whole operation of Mr. Gadkari and its antecedents and precedents is becoming murkier by the minute. Now we have a revelation of 8 people plus an industrialist. I agree with him The government should provide an authoritative and definitive statement and a white paper. I agree with him.
No, watch. Which industry? What? Yes, Subramanian Swamy. What is this industrialist angle?
I said I didn't say that the industrialist was also bugged. I said the industrialist cooperated with the United States.
Was the facilitator.
NSA.
In what way?
To logistics.
Logistics and an Indian industrial house facilitated the Americans to spy on BJP leaders logistically before.
Correct.
At the end of last year.
Till the, I know that it happened in October, and I'm also certain that when the United States Senator, who was presidential candidate, came, that is the time it was terminated.
So, Subramanian Swamy, all this is grossly unethical, isn't it? This is unethical. It's a compromise of our sovereignty, isn't it?
Totally. This is something which, look at the German Chancellor, what reaction she had. But we feel that the Congress party is trying to make this into a way of trying to create an internal problem, plus trying to create bad relations with the United States. Certainly we are not going to put up with the United States doing this, but we are not going to break diplomatic relations for it.
No, 1 minute, sir. How come you go so soft suddenly? You just simply want to use this to deflect? Where is your anger tonight? If this is so unethical, since my previous question to you, Subramanian Swamy, was, and Pavan Verma, Shaktisinh, Gohil, I asked Subramanian Swamy if what was happening was unethical, and he said totally it was. Then I want to know. And everyone wants to know, Subramanian Swamy, whether your present Narendra Modi government allows the continuation of the Rampart A surveillance program or not. Why want a statement on that?
I'm telling you, the United States government, the day they came to power, we came to power, they terminated it.
The Rampart A program has been terminated now.
I have a question for Mr. Swamy.
No, 1 second. The day you came to power, which means you came to power on May 16th. 1 minute. This is now sounding like fiction, Pavan Verma. You came to power on, your results were out on May 16th. You were sworn in at the end of May. The day you were sworn in, the Americans took back all their surveillance equipment. Sir, how did they take it back? They sent ships or drones? Or the Americans flew in? Or did they bring down UFOs to fly out the equipment? I mean, this is ridiculous, sir. Sorry. But your story sounds a little unbelievable. Pavan Verma, what do you think? Do you believe Subramanian Swamy on this?
No, I just want to say one thing, Arnab.
You have never believed any of my stories, so there is no big deal that you don't believe it.
Sir, no, 1 second.
You become wrong afterwards.
Sir, Subramanian Swamy.
Times I have shown that you are an ignorant man.
Subramanian Swamy, my job is to ask the questions, not to be your loyal supplicant, absorbing every bit of your information from you as the last word. 1 second. My question to you is...
May I just say...
You never asked a question.
Pavan Verma is countering you tonight, Subramanian Swamy. By the way...
May I just say, Arnab, that Mr. Swamy has made certain exceptionally explosive allegations either against the UPA or against the infringement of our sovereignty. Obviously, he says his information is based on some verifiable basis, and he has also further increased the ramifications of this whole business by including an industrialist. We are all very curious to know who that industrialist is. Should it or should it not be a reason for this government to come out clean on this subject? Why is it shying away from a proper statement and a discussion from an authoritative spokesman, not Mr. Swamy, who is merely providing information as he knows it?
Sir,
we want a representative of the government to come out.
Absolutely. You see, but at the same time, let's not dismiss. You see, the fact is, 1 second. Subramanian Swamy is not a lightweight. He is the chairman of the Strategic Affairs Committee of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I presume his word carries weight when he says a prominent industrial house facilitated Americans to spy on his party's leaders. It is a statement of tremendous ramifications. I think today after this, Shaktisinh, Gohil and even Hardeep Puri will agree with me, Mr. Gohil. After this, the government can't look away and say, you know what, Gadkari said he wasn't spied on. What's the big deal? Can we move on? You can't do that anymore after what Swamy has said today. Shaktisinh, Gohil, what do you think? Now the story takes a completely different turn. You realize this is beyond targeting Modi or saying Modi did the spying. It's a story at a different level from your political rivalry with Modi that goes back to Gujarat. Shaktisinh, Gohil.
Arnab, if Mr. Swamy has all this information that 8 leaders were spied by some agency, and if he has a concrete information that some business houses also providing logistic support, then Mr. Swamy's government is there in at Delhi. There should be a proper investigation, and whoever is the responsible, let the Prime Minister come on the public domain, come to the Parliament and say what was happening.
I absolutely agree with Mr. Gohil. I have a simple question for Mr. Swamy.
Yes.
He made 2 very relevant points in his what he said just now. Number one, he says that until May 16th or till the end of May this was happening, and after that, once BJP came to power, this stopped.
No, ramparte did not continue.
Ramparte did not continue.
Yes.
If there was something wrong happening during the UPA tenure, can anyone in their wildest dream imagine the Bharatiya Janata Party led government to keep quiet and not expose the UPA? Is that possible?
In fact, that's the question. That's the question.
I think
why is Swamy the only person saying this today?
One. And number two.
Why are all other BJP leaders playing it down?
And number two, he also says he wants a white paper on this from the government. When the Bharatiya Janata Party member of parliaments are demanding a white paper on this issue, why is the government shying away? These are 2 relevant points which the government needs to answer.
I have just 2 simple questions tonight. Is the Ramparte surveillance program still on? B, regardless of whether Gadkari admits it or not, is there an attempt within the government to downplay this whole thing? And if so, why? Hardeep Puri, you realize now the issue is fairly serious. The allegations made are fairly profound.
I totally agree with you. The question should be rephrased. The question should be rephrased and it should be couched in the following terms, Arnab. Is the Rampart A surveillance program still on? Question 1, was Rampart A program covering India earlier? B, is it covering India now?
Right.
Because I have a slightly different reading of the Rampart A program. I'd be happy to send you a little note on it. But I think what Dr. Swamy is saying is something completely different. He's saying that he has the confidence, and I like to believe that he has the authority to state that this government is going to or has already initiated the requisite measures for countermeasures to say that this will not happen under our charge. I read Dr. Swamy in that light.
Sir, 2 facts are clear. Americans...
Let me make one thing clear. I am not a spokesman of the government. I am a member of the party. I also know the subject. I have followed this kind of thing for a long time, and therefore I am basing it on my knowledge and my friends whom I trust.
Sir, there is information available that high-powered listening devices of the kind that only sophisticated American spy agencies use were planted in houses. Now, this cannot be done locally. A. B. There was clearance to go ahead and do surveillance of the BJP. C. India got into a strange agreement to allow the Americans this access. I think, Pavan Verma, we have a right to know. Now, the government can't bury this anymore. All we want to know is this being allowed officially or otherwise?
No, Arnab, there is a statement by Mr. Swamy who is basing it on his information. We have another statement from Hardeep Puri who is saying, interpreting Mr. Swamy's statement. Meanwhile, the nation is waiting agog to know what we need to know about the truth and what can be revealed. The nation has the right to know, to phrase a famous TV anchor, the nation has the right to know. But then the nation must be told by the current government.
Well,
they have not been shy in making allegations against the previous government, should those allegations be deserved.
Well, in this case...
There is a situation, no, jokes apart, Arnab.
Absolutely.
There is a situation. It's quite serious.
Of course it is.
The world's largest democracy has one of its senior most cabinet ministers under the suspicion of being under surveillance in his own house.
Absolutely. And Mr. Gadkari has every reason to try and play it down.
Coming in dribs and drabs from different people instead of an authoritative, definitive statement from the government.
In somebody else's house.
Well, I think the Prime Minister can explain if Ram Party is still carrying on. We're following the story.
Surveillance in this studio.
We have access to some information. Times Now is following the story, and we hope that by tomorrow, gentlemen, we will be able to provide a little bit more insight on this. This is not a one-day reporting exercise for us here at Times Now. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight.